Hi, Norbert here, energy engineer, and explaining in video number 17 how to make exciting things with a heat pump of a swimming pool, even if you don't have a swimming pool at all. For a complete instruction on how to realize a normal system to heat a swimming pool, I will give you this link to a compatriot's video. The main question of this video is how can we use the heat pump in a better way than just heating the pool?
But wait, why do we want more than it does already? After all, a swimming pool heat pump is already a great energy saver if compared with electrical resistive heaters.
Oh boy, who can pay the bill with direct electric heating? Another question, do we actually need a swimming pool to use this device? After all, with 500 euros, it's not much more expensive than a normal mobile air conditioner.
Oh, please tell it. A swimming pool is much more than 500 euros. I would love if I could avoid that investment.
Okay, just a minute. Let me first show how this device functions in a normal, small swimming pool. Then we will talk about all the other things you can do with that device. Here's the swimming pool and the pump. Please, I want 28 degrees Celsius. Okay, as you say, I switch the heat pump on. And as you see, this is the set temperature where it will try to come, where it will stop heating and see what happens. Temperature is 21 degrees. And there we are. You have your 28 degrees Celsius, and that with little energy. The washing machine and the dishwasher need much more energy for the same amount of water. And that's the same amount of water which is here in this small swimming pool. More about 20 liters or so. So that's a regular job for this kind of heat pump, to heat the pool. For the many types of experiments which I did, I purchased a heat pump, and you can see in the description which kind of pump I bought for 500 euros. But let's now dive into the principles. Why is this device able to give 3 times as much energy as the resistive heaters which you find in your domestic appliances like dishwashers and washing machines, but also coffee machines and tea boilers? That's because this heat pump uses 1 unit of your purchased energy to extract 2 units of energy from the air side to put 1 plus 2 units is 3 units into another place, which is in this case water. And in this way you obtain a kind of discount like in a supermarket. You pay 1 and you get 3. Now I am still not happy with that. I still want more, and it is possible. To understand that, you must know what is cogeneration. Maybe you know cogeneration from the combined heat and power, where you have an engine, you make electricity from that, but you have also a lot of heat, and this heat you can use at the same way, at the same time as the electricity. And that way you make better use of the chemical energy which is in the fuel. So cogeneration is the idea of producing 2 things at the same time. In the case of the heat pump, it is that you have always a cold side and you have a hot side. And in everyday practice you discard one of the 2, the heat or the cold. If cooling is needed, like with an air conditioner or a refrigerator, then the heat is discarded. On the other hand, if you need the heat, like with this heat pump for the swimming pool, then you discard the cold air which blows into your garden. Oh, there are so many strange ways to waste money. See also video 1 and 3 on my channel to see how I use the cold and the warm side of a very small heat pump. What makes this double use easier with the swimming pool heat pump is because we have here an air-water heat pump. On the other hand, if you have an air conditioner, that's an air-air heat pump, because it's blowing air both at the cold side and also at the hot side. Now water will more easily absorb the heat, and for example cold water from a well or from your distribution grid will greatly increase the performance of your heat pump and give you more cold and more heat for each unit of energy. Now compare that with an air conditioner, which sometimes, often, has a hard job because it must push out hot air, also when it is already hot outside. So that means it has to work harder and it will give less heat and it will take more energy and you will pay it. Moreover, warm water is easier to store than warm air. So that means if you don't need the water which this heat pump produces, then you can store it until later.
Wow, that's really flexible.
So, how can we use this heat pump in our homes? One obvious example is of course to heat a swimming pool and at the same time cooling your home, like an air conditioner, instead of the air conditioner, so that you can also save on the investment in an air conditioner, if you have still to buy that.
Does that make sense? If you need cooling in the house, isn't the swimming pool already warm enough? You also have to take into account the noise of the cool fan, and you have to bring the water to where you need the cooling. And if it were so easy, why isn't it done already?
Okay, don't worry. I will give the answers in the following video. There's no time to do it now, I'm sorry. But what I find important right away, and that's a message which screams from all the videos in my channel. You have always to be keen on the possibilities that technology offers to you to be rational with energy, even if the others don't do it. My mother said, the no you have already in your pocket, but courage commands you to look for the yes. Life becomes suddenly much more interesting that way, I promise you. Now let me give a list of exciting things that I want to do in the next videos with this heat pump. Number 1 is cooling the house, but at the same time producing warm water for your domestic uses, like feeding warm water into the dishwasher and the washing machine, but also for the heating or preheating of your showers and the water which is to be available at your kitchen sink. Domestic appliances heat the water with resistances from 15 degrees or so until the programmed temperature, so preheating that water is a great idea. Number 2 is that you use the cold water from your distribution system or maybe from a well. By cooling this heat pump in this way, you increase the efficiency with which it produces cold air for your house. It's not really a double use of the cold and the hot side, but anyway, you get a higher efficiency of the cooling. So that's also money saving and energy saving. Moreover, in many Italian homes, and I think also in many other parts of the world, there are tanks of let's say 500 liters in each home with a pump, and that's for the security of supply for water if for some way the distribution net is not constant. And this water tank can also be used to cool the water side of the heat pump and give you better efficiency cooling of your home. Another idea is to dehumidify some room in your house, and even a room where you can dry your clothes much quicker. I want also to try to decrease the speed of this cool air fan and see what impact it has on the performance of the heat pump of the compressor.
Will you show us how you measure that?
Sure, I will. Okay, that's my program for now. In general, the grail for me for this heat pump is to use both the cold and the warm side of the heat pump. And that's a way to double the energy which I can get from this device for 1 unit of energy. And if you cannot use in a moment one side, then you can store it. And water is a very good medium to store. It has a high density and you can store it for a long time. Watch the videos which I will make in the next weeks and enjoy the benefits of these technologies already in this summer, with or without a swimming pool in your garden. I hope you like this video. If so, put your thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and if you have comments, questions or maybe request what I should do in the next videos, please write them in the comments below the video. I wish you a good energy.